Everyone in the service industry has a story. Wild orders.
Crazy customers, wild orders.
See, that's what I'm saying. Just only see the stupid fucking thing. Everyone in the service industry has a story. Crazy customers, wild orders, and WTF moments. Do you want to start a tab? The podcast here to bring you those tales from behind the bar. My name's Carl. I don't remember shit.
My name's Riley, and I try to get him to pay more attention so he can remember things.
I do pay attention to a lot of things. Paying attention and remembering words to repeat often is two different things.
Hard disagree.
I can pay attention to things. I just paid attention to the last 5 episodes of Ted Lasso. Doesn't remember. I remember a goddamn thing that happened.
Doesn't remember you remember everything?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Irritating.
On this lovely little podcast, we read stories off the internet about the hospitality industry through the eyes of the guest or the person working in the industry.
Yes.
We talk about how maybe it should have been handled differently or how exceptionally well it was handled. Is there an asshole? Is there a hero? Then we rate that story 1 through 5, 1 being an average, an okay story that we're used to hearing all the time, or 5 being like, what the fuck? Or wow, that's insane.
That's a next level story that we probably won't hear again.
I hope not.
I mean, some of them, yeah. So to start off every episode, we talk about what we're drinking. Carl, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking Mississippi River Distilling rye whiskey old fashions.
Okay.
2 ounces of that with a little bit of cinnamon demerara and honey bitters.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I am also drinking a big pour of Amaro Montenegro because we ate a huge dinner tonight while watching the last episode of Ted Lasso.
Yes. It's a great show. Everybody should watch it.
You know, just stop this podcast and go watch all 3 seasons.
We'll forgive you for sure.
Yeah. Because once you hit play, after 3 seconds, it counts as a download anyway. So I don't really care at this point.
Ted Lasso doing the hard work, teaching men to be more emotionally intelligent through sport.
Balls.
God damn it. You're an asshole.
Do we want to do the shorty or the biggie first?
Speaking of emotional intelligence through sport, that's kind of a good segue into my story.
There you go. See?
All right. This comes from the Malicious Compliance subreddit, and it's from Inside Ad 5252, and it was from 9 days ago. Actually, probably more than that. Nope, 9 days ago. It's called Sports Bar Manager Changing the TV.
Oh my God.
You already have nightmare flashbacks from working at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Just even at the hotel. Anywhere that has a fucking TV.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I was at a sports bar watching UFC fights on a Saturday afternoon. It was pretty dead until around 5 when the early dinner crowd started arriving. One family came in and asked their waitress if they could switch the large projector screen from the fights. She came over and asked me, and I said it was fine as long as they put the fights on another TV. The family had the main TV switched to ESPN, which had one of their special documentaries on at that time rather than live sports. When the family asked if they could switch the smaller TV that I had just had switched to the fights. The waitress said no, since they'd already requested another TV. The family was annoyed and asked for the manager. When the manager got out to their table, the father demanded that the fights be changed so their son, who was probably around 8, couldn't see the fights since they were violent and not family friendly. The manager tried to calm the family by moving the fights to a TV behind their son, which I would have been fine with. However, the father demanded that the fights couldn't be on any TVs as long as the family was at the sports bar. Then he accused the manager of not caring about young children for insisting that the fights remain on somewhere. The manager nodded and said he'd get the TV sorted out. Then he also asked the father if he should change the music playing since it was pop. The father grunted about that being nice and how the manager was finally being responsible and looking out for children. While this was happening, the manager sent the family's waitress over to put their order in. Then once their order was in the system, the manager switched the TV again. He put the UFC fights back on the main TV, but this time he turned the sound on as well, since the pop music could be bad for children. The father started loudly complaining again and called the manager back over. He demanded that the TV be changed again, and when the manager said no, the father demanded to speak to the owner. The manager said he'd get the owner, but it may take a few minutes. The manager changed into a sport coat and came back over.
Oh my God.
It turned out he was a part owner of the sports bar. Now the father really lost it and said his family was leaving. The owner calmly asked if he should have the family's meals changed to takeout orders. The father said they were leaving and wouldn't pay for the food the family had ordered. The owner said the family had to pay for their meals since they were already being cooked. The father continued arguing until the owner threatened to call the cops if they left without paying. The family ended up paying, but left when their food came several minutes later. Until they left, the father made the son sit there with his eyes closed and ears covered so he wasn't exposed to the fight. I busted out laughing once the family left. That took a hard left turn as soon as the manager got out of sport coat.
I mean, I love watching videos where do that, where like, can I speak to your manager? And they just kind of
Turn around.
They do the invisible, they're walking down the stairs thing. And how can I help you? First of all, you're going to a sports bar. You have to understand it's a sports bar there because they do all types of sports.
Right.
If you have moral issues with some sports,
Don't go to a sports
bar. Don't go to. That's on you. You walked into their establishment,
right? And like, I can understand like requesting it being changed from the big TV and like making sure your kid isn't facing it. Like that makes sense to me, kind of. But also to say it can't be on any TV.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get out.
Like,
just leave.
First of all, like UFC, UFC's whatever. I don't really care about UFC, but for half the year, there's really not much else on Saturday nights.
Right.
You know, baseball or basketball. But after that, it's like, I mean, even during football, college football is over with.
Right. By nighttime.
Most of the time. So especially this obviously must have been like not a pay-per-view event. Well, it's always pay-per-view, but like It seemed like it didn't get that far because because they paid a bunch of money to have it on, and they're usually gonna have the sound on anyways. Right. Because that's, whatever. So, but then to have it on ESPN on a documentary, like, what's the point of that?
Right.
Like,
can you imagine just like having the nerve to walk into a Buffalo Wild Wings and be like, hey, change this TV.
Right. I mean, you get it. Like if there's a
change
different
all
game,
of the TVs.
Change all the TVs is bullshit.
Right.
Asking for one, that's fine. And I think the server or bartender did a good job. Like, look, you've already requested one time. We can't keep changing these for you. We have other guests in here. Right. And that's why I tell anyone who asks me to change TV, well, I got to see if anyone's watching. Like, well, no one cares. No, you don't care. Maybe someone else does. Like, why do they care about this Oregon State team? Well,
somebody does.
I don't know.
Somebody cares.
I don't care that they care. They just ask for that TV on that and I put it on.
Right.
Or here's when I worked at the hotel, it'd be Saturday afternoon, coming or we open at 1. So usually the 11 o'clock games are about halfway through already. And they come in like, why don't you have this TV on? And I just go, I don't care what's on. I just have it on until someone asks me. People would get upset because I say it like, well, because I wasn't like already got the Wisconsin game or the Iowa game on. I'm like, but I don't care. Right. Like I just turn it on. It's a football game and it's moving parts.
Right. I don't get to sit here and watch it.
Right.
So until somebody tells me what they want to watch, it's on something.
Right. Because no matter what I pick, someone else is going to come in anyways. Right. So the dad's an asshole.
Absolutely.
But I think the manager probably went a little too far. I think he doing the whole order thing, that's petty as fuck. Yeah. Waiting to change a TV and put the sound on. Yeah. Like that's you are now extorting them for, it seems like
he waited till he put the order in.
Like as a dad, a mom, and a kid. So let's just say it's 3 people, right? Maybe more, but let's assume it's 3. Right. That's at least $60. Right. Right. He's being petty as fuck. Because you're wasting fucking food and all this other shit. Because maybe they'll take it with them, whatever. But you should not have waited to do that. Right.
That's absolutely petty.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's an asshole move. But the whole going and turning and putting the jacket on, coming back out, that's fucking hilarious. Right. That's gold, and I accept that.
Right. I accept that level of petty, but the waiting until they put the order in, the money part. Yeah.
I always have an issue when you fuck with people's money. Yeah. Right. Because I mean, they still chose to come to your restaurant for whatever reason. Like maybe they usually come in on Thursdays and this, they were going to do something. Sorry, our cat is being fucking weird. And, so whatever, but still like.
My favorite comment on this post is, Takes family to a sports bar where sports are being shown, freaks out when a family is exposed to sports at a sports bar.
Right. Pretty much. And I get it, right? Like UFC is violent as fuck, but it's also like,
I mean, it's obviously but it's still a sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you shouldn't, if you don't want your kids exposed to that shit, then don't even take them somewhere. There's a possibility it's going to happen.
Right.
If this was at like an Applebee's, right?
Right.
You know, where there's only like a couple TVs, sure, just ask away. But like a sports bar, it's on you, bud. It's on you.
Right.
So there's
a couple layers here.
Mm-hmm. This is above average, but it's not too far above average, right? Because I've dealt with TVs before, especially working at Buffalo Wild Wings for a little bit, especially in the bar area. Everyone wants their game on the main TV. I'm going to go 3-2.
Explain.
First of all, it's got everything we talked about, right? The family, you bring your family to a sports bar where there's things going to be shown that you might not agree with.
Right.
Especially UFC on Saturday. I'm sorry. In this world, fights happen on Saturday nights. UFC.
Or if you don't know that fights happen on Saturday nights, you have to go into a sports bar understanding that there is an expectation for any and or all sports being on the TVs.
Right. And then their levelness of asking not once, not twice, 3 times for the TVs to be changed, eventually asking to have it not on at all.
Right.
Then the manager being condescending, petty as fuck, changes it. But then ask, like the dad should have known when he said something about pop music, like, oh, that should have like a red flag should have been like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh. So that's kind of funny. He asked about the pop music and sets him up to do it. But then it's also a dick move about charging them or getting the order in first.
Right.
And then threatening to call the cops about it. And then the manager thing. So there's like 5 levels going on in here. But
I think I'm going to go at a 3.7 just for the level of petty that exists on both sides.
Right.
And also like
they're trying to out petty each other.
Yeah. And I've been in a situation where people have asked TVs to be changed. I've been in a situation where the music is asked to be changed because it's not appropriate for children. And that's fair. The playlist was not of family friendly one or I
was scoffing too. I've been in that situation where people ask me to change music, not for the kids thing, but just sorry. But
like to have the nerve to demand that your needs be met for every fucking table, like every fucking TV, which is then affecting every table potentially, is a level of entitlement that I can't even fathom.
Right. I'm actually surprised like there was no mention about, there's other people here watching the fights.
I mean, maybe the server did to start and they still demanded it.
Maybe.
I'm going to assume.
Yeah. And that's, there's probably, you would assume there would have been something mentioned there unless they were like only 3 tables and then the other 2 tables didn't give a fuck. But I don't know. Yeah. I personally don't ask unless I'm going somewhere where I know they have like the Sunday ticket, and they only have a couple TVs and you can kind of get a feel for the room, right? Like, even if I sit at the bar, I'm like, hey, are you guys watching this game?
Right. Or like, hey, do you mind if we change this? Like, if not, that's fine.
Right. I'm just asking because it doesn't bother me either way because I'm still watching some sort of football. Right. But like.
And it'd be different if they went there to watch something in particular. Like, hey, we're trying to watch this football game that's on, but boxing is on or UFC is on. Can we change it?
Right.
That would be different. But just to demand that you don't want to watch something so it's not there.
Yeah. Man. That's fine.
Right.
I'm going to go into a wine bar and ask them not to serve white wine because I don't believe in white wine.
Right. Exactly.
Only do red wine. But even though I do occasionally drink both wines and occasionally dip into a rosé.
I once had a Merlot that used to be a Chardonnay.
So yeah, if you have a story about a sports bar or have you been that asshole that likes to ask people to change the TVs all the time, leave us a comment or leave us a story on our subreddit. Do you want to start a tab?
Yes. If you're sitting at the bar and you see a person complaining about the music or the whatever's on the TV, you should give us a call at our phone number. And that is
563. Hold on. 563-27. I don't fucking know. Give us a call. 563-277-0072.
Please live narrate it to us. Tell us exactly what's happening. I want a full description of the Karen's hair.
Or the males, whatever.
The Steve's hair.
Just let us know what's going on. So yeah, you're, like I said, links for both are in the description of what you're listening to. And while you're inside your podcast player, just leave us a 5-star review. Helps the podcast grow. Share this podcast with your friends or family if you are enjoying it. And we know people are, because we're still getting a really good amount of downloads every week, which we love it, which we appreciate so much. We're going to be at 10,000 before we know it. Now, I have a short story.
A short one.
Because yours was long-winded and we don't got time for this. I'm just kidding. We have plenty of time. This was under Am I the Asshole thread. Comprehensive tip 824 from 32 days ago. So it's a fresh one. Am I the asshole? I own a bar/restaurant.
Wait, you didn't read the title.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for positively correcting me.
Continue to joke.
Thank you. Am I the asshole? Bartender takes alcoholic beverages home without ringing them in.
Who's the asshole? Like, who are you in the story? Are you the bartender or are you the person who reported the bartender?
I don't know.
Stay tuned.
Dun, dun, dun. Drama. Am I the asshole? I own a bar/restaurant. I never go looking for a problem on our security cameras. While investigating a customer issue on the security cameras, I see an employee take a 6-pack of beer out of the walk-in and put it in their car. They never rang it in. I spoke to the employee about it. I cut a shift for this week and told them that if it happened again, that they would be terminated. Employee told me it was no big deal and that they worked really hard. Granted, generally, this employee is great at their job. However, how can I justify permitting theft? I've never denied anyone drinks. If they asked, had a bad day, wanted to take a couple of drinks home, etc. But it bothers me when they don't, when they take it without asking.
No, absolutely not the asshole.
Absolutely not. It's your business.
Yeah.
It's your property.
Yeah.
If an employee wants to take something,
they stole from you.
They stole from you. Yeah.
You're not the asshole.
No, not at all.
Like, I don't think it needs to go further than that. Like, absolutely not. End of discussion.
Yeah. I mean, you did the nice thing and just say, hey, look, I saw you do it.
You didn't terminate them on the spot. You did a super nice thing.
Right. Like, look, just ask next time. You know, I'm cool about it. What happens though is when you allow that to happen continuously, like they're just assuming it's okay to do it without the need to ask anymore.
Right.
And
it's the same as lifestyle creep, where it's just like, oh, I got away with it once and I'm going to do it every day.
Mm-hmm. And the employee's just like, what was I going to say? I was going to make a point. No, I forgot.
Sorry.
No, I interrupted you anyway. So, yeah, it's just, it's the entitlement of I worked really hard, so I deserve this.
Yeah, and you also got paid.
You got paid.
You were making money here. You got tips and you got paid. And
in most bars or restaurants, you usually, most of the time, are allowed a shift or two beverage of something. Right.
And usually. If you're not entitled to that.
Right.
That is completely at the discretion of the owners, managers, whatever the.
Yep. Exactly. So every bar and restaurant's ran completely different. And if you don't like it, go fucking open your own bar.
Right.
And go open your own bar. And you tell me you're going to allow an employee to take a 6-pack home every fucking night with them, plus the whatever you pay them. You're going to put it into that really fucking quickly.
Right.
Because a 6-pack, I mean, a 6-pack of beer probably costs,
depending on the beer, anywhere from like $5 to $7 or $5 to $10.
$5 to $10. Yeah. Let's see. So the generalization is they're not the asshole. Obviously. Not the asshole. Why would you be? Because someone stole from you. This post doesn't really fit this sub. What? Yes, it does. It's just, it's such an obvious answer. Oh, I guess it's not obvious because obviously this guy is very he wants to make sure his employees maybe not like him, but
I don't know. I mean, is he the type of owner manager that just tries to keep people happy instead of actually dealing with problems?
Right. Someone's basically saying it's not pouring a drink for yourself after a long night. That's just outright stealing. You were pretty fair with them. Right. Because if you allow this guy, then how many other people are doing it?
Right.
But he's all, like if everyone in the place is doing it, you would know pretty quickly through inventory. Like, man, I'm buying all of this and I'm not selling shit.
Right. But he said he doesn't go looking for problems, which I think, given our last episode with Eric Castro, that's a big no. You should be looking for problems, because if you don't, the problems sneak up on you and you end up losing a lot of money.
Someone goes, you're the asshole for not firing someone from stealing from you. I mean, I get that, right? Because you're allowing this culture, but it's also like, maybe this is a one-time thing. But when the guy says to you, it's not that big of a deal. That's like, I'm sorry. I know I fucked up.
Right.
It's just, like
the employee tried to gaslight the owner into being like, no, it's fine.
Right. That's true.
That's not how being an employee works.
Right. You're foolish to give them a warning rather than firing them on the spot. They stole from your business and claimed it was no big deal. You have no idea how much that stolen in the past. Fire them now. Yeah. I mean, I'm either way with that, right? Like if you just want to give them at least one more shot, right? Because, if they are a good employee, and I understand stealing makes you not a good employee, but let's put that pin in that. Like again, if this is a one-time thing.
If you are going to choose not to fire that person on the spot, then you need to understand that you're going to have to be more vigilant and actually pay attention from now on.
Yep. You are now setting yourself up to being more in owner mode. Right.
So if you can be friendly with your employees, but you can't be your employees' friends.
Right. Yep.
Friend. So at this point, he didn't fire that person, but he knows that person is stolen from them. So he needs to pay more attention.
Right. And then, I think he has to now have a conversation with all the employees, not call this one employee out in front of everyone, but like, look, guys, things have been sometimes missing.
We're going to review policy.
And we're, here's a policy about this. If you want to drink at the end shift, ask me or the manager.
Right.
But, stealing from the company is no longer to be tolerated.
Right.
So
it has never been tolerated, but now we will actually be looking for it.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah. Well, hopefully things go well for you guys, but rate the story 2.3. It's about average, a little less,
yeah.
Unfortunately, the hospitality industry can be a very toxic environment where things are just kind of like not looked away, but you look the other way for something, like
it's kind of hard. Like, for example, stealing is probably, it happens probably everywhere.
Like just in jobs in general?
No, just like in the restaurant industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Like pouring a free drink for a friend. Mm-hmm. That's technically stealing.
Yep. Giving away. If you gave away an app and didn't ring it in, that's technically stealing. Like, we could have a long discussion of where's the line?
Yeah.
At,
But at the end of the day, it is still technically stealing. And so without the employee's response, I would give it a 1 because it's just another day.
Right.
But to try to gaslight somebody who is your employer into making it out to be no big deal. Like, that takes a pair of balls that I can't even imagine thinking about pretending to have.
If this person's willing to gaslight, let's just say $10 6-pack of beer to the owner,
right? What
else is this person doing in life? Like to parents, partner, friends,
right? Like, can you imagine? Like, I can't even imagine trying, but like, hey, can I buy this off you off cost?
Right. Hey, I just want to go straight home. I don't want to stop at the liquor store to buy a 6-pack. Can I just buy it?
Can I buy this at cost?
Can I buy this from you? Okay, here you go. Just $10, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
And you made that much in tips.
Right. This could be a cook, so it's hard to say what position they held. But yeah, Most of the time, most owners are going to be really cool about shit like that because it's not, if you sell it to them at cost, it's not costing them any money because they'll just reorder the thing again.
Right.
They're not out
You're breaking
any money.
even.
You're breaking. Yeah. It's just don't do that shit.
Right.
I get it. We all have. I'm sorry. What is your rating?
2.3. I'm gonna agree with you. Finally, now that I get to say it.
Can you say it again?
2.3.
No, the other thing.
Finally, now that I get to say it.
The thing right before that.
I don't remember.
Oh. I thought it started with an A and ended in agree.
Agree?
Yeah, with me.
I don't remember saying that.
Like
my memory must be fuzzy. I wasn't paying attention.
I'm going to drop the red flag for the instant replay. Luckily, I'm the video editor. So yeah, that's, it's just fucked up. Like, just be thankful that if your owner is this cool not to fire you on the spot.
Yeah.
Just be thankful. So don't do shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
Don't steal from your employees or employers.
Don't steal from anyone.
There's that. Don't steal from your employees, your employers, anybody in between.
The biggest theft I've seen when you stole my heart.
Oh,
Remember, don't be a dick, tip your bartenders, and drink responsibly.